Hello and welcome back to another week of Open Mic Night. So glad the guys decided to join us. I've got another guest this week I think you guys will really like, so stick around. We're going to talk about the Apple event that's going to be happening on Thursday, some audio equipment, and maybe a little bit more. Stick around. It's going to be a really fun show. Alrighty, so like I said, welcome back. Welcome to Open Mic Night. If this is your guys' first time joining us, welcome. My name is Mike Wieger, and I am your host. I do this show every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Central Time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific. So welcome. I talk about all of the latest tech news. I talk about tech gadgets. I talk a lot about Apple. I'm a huge Apple fanboy. And from time to time, I get the luxury of bringing in some awesome guests that you guys get to interact with. You guys get to hear what they have to say, so you don't always have to listen to me. So this week I am joined by Roger Blake, and Roger is the owner of WLMN Radio. And if that sounds familiar to you guys, it's because I always talk about them every week. They stream my content during the week at nights, and they are doing a lot of really fun stuff. But let's just introduce them. Roger, how's it going?
Pretty good, and thanks for having me on the show. No
problem. So Roger and I keep in contact a lot, obviously, because we're always in contact about, uploading my show and stuff like that. But so him and I have always been talking, but I've wanted to bring him on the show for a while now because I think he has a lot of really cool stuff to say about, first of all, just the whole radio industry as a whole, about audio equipment, and then him and I are always having fun just kind of geeking out over the latest tech news. And so I thought tonight would be a really fun time to bring him in and to kind of just talk some tech news with you guys. And so the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the Apple event that is occurring on Thursday. Now, Apple kind of slipped this news kind of under the, kind of into the news feed without a lot of us knowing. Every year, of course, we're always looking forward to the iPhone announcement, which we had in September, but we kind of forget that just a month later we're going to be having another event from Apple, and that's been kind of a yearly cycle for them, and usually it is when they introduce new iPads. Now, the new invite went out this week, and or maybe even last week, and it's been way too long, is kind of the tagline was, it's been way too long. So that kind of makes us guess kind of what they're going to be talking about. I think they will for sure have new iPads, but I think they're also going to be talking a lot about the Mac. And so, Roger, have you had a chance at all to kind of look at this, or were you surprised that they were having another event in October?
Yeah, actually, I was surprised, but then again, on the other side of the coin, I wasn't, because Apple's always out there making things better. And to also, to quote Steve Jobs, there's always that one last thing.
Right.
So, and I think it's pretty exciting. I can't wait to see what all their new products are that they're coming out with. Really pumped up about it.
Yeah, so the iPad, it's yearly. It's kind of on this yearly cycle now, and this will be obviously the time they announce iPad. So everyone's kind of expecting that. Now, for you guys wondering kind of where are they going with these new iPads? What are they going to be doing with them? There's not many rumors out. Apple's done a pretty good job of keeping a tight lid on this one, but I'm guessing they will go bigger, and obviously I'm guessing they will also put Touch ID. Now, Touch ID is the fingerprint sensor that's in the iPhone. It was in the iPhone 5S, and now it's in the 6 and 6 Plus, and so I think we'll have a bigger iPad, though, because, Roger, I was thinking about this on the drive home. I'm like, I don't know where they're going to go with the iPad because the iPhone 6 Plus is so large. Obviously, it might. I don't know if they're going to keep going with the iPad mini line because those two form factors are so close. Apple obviously has the iPad mini right now, and then the iPad Air, which is the bigger version. And so I'm kind of thinking, though, Roger, do you have an iPad, or have you played with them at all, size-wise, the bigger ones?
No, unfortunately, not yet. Actually, my fiance, she's wanting an iPad Air, but you would have thought, I mean, I don't know by saying this, that when they launched the iPhone 6 that they would have maybe mentioned that. But again, like I said, they always raise the bar on things, and always they have that one more product out there that they, like they're ace in the hole, so to speak, that they want to, surprise us with.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, and I think kind of maybe it might have helped them to not talk about any iPad stuff before, because if people are buying these big phones and then they're trying to decide, okay, do I want this really large phone or do I want an iPad? What do I want? I think it might have confused the market a little bit. So I think it's good that we have the iPhones out. We know how they, we've kind of felt them at least. Someone in our lives usually has had one by now and be able to touch and feel them. And now a month later, we get the iPad announcement with this sort of stuff. But I always have my dreams and wishes for the iPad, and I have to say it's not going to happen. I'll just preface this right now. Don't get excited. It's not going to happen. But I would love a USB port on my iPad. Mainly because just so we can put an end to all those commercials that Windows puts out and all those other people put out about the iPad not having a USB port. But there's a lot of things, my USB microphone, a keyboard, there's a lot of things, a flash drive, things that would be really useful to plug into that iPad. And it's something that I've always wanted, but they've never put in. And I don't know if they're not going to. I know they're not going to. But it'd be really nice if they did.
I don't know. I think they might implement some of those features. I mean, because if you really think about it, Apple as a whole really put emphasis, and they always want to make their products a lot bigger and better and have more features when they do originally launch them. So we never know.
Right, right. And they have been changing too. Like I said, they kind of been doing this. Obviously when Steve Jobs was around, he never would have done that big of an iPhone. But this is Tim Cook's Apple. Tim Cook has really kind of taken Apple, and it's his now, and he's doing a lot of things that I don't think Apple would have ever done. And Steve Jobs is always known for, we know what the market wants, and we'll never have different sized iPhones, a different line. That's Android's thing. They're segmented and all that stuff. And so I think that now that we're starting to see that, who knows, we might see some of the stuff. And they've been under fire, honestly, from all the other companies about the usability, really, of the iPad. You can't do this with it. There's no keyboard with it. Just everything. And who knows? Who knows if they'll want to respond to that? But when we saw iOS 8 come out, iOS 8, as much of an Apple fanboy as I am, it had a lot of features that Android has had for years. And so maybe Apple's okay with bringing in features that aren't new and aren't just Apple, but they're features that the consumer really wants. And I hope they're going that way. I do like how Apple kind of tells me what I want. It's kind of fun because no one knows what they're announcing because they're kind of majestic and they're Apple, and it's always a big secret. I mean, look at us. We're talking about a launch day on Thursday, but I, at least, and a lot of other people don't get as excited for other launch days of other events. It's not, worldwide news like it is for Apple.
Right. And that's, and not to bring them up, I mean, and I'm not putting them down either. That's like with Windows. I heard that Windows is bypassing 9, so to speak, and now they're moving to Windows 10. They're trying to compete with Apple. Now, I had nothing against Windows. Okay, I still currently myself, I have some machines that I run Windows off of. To get technical, I've got even a Windows, ready for this, Windows 98 that runs off the second edition, runs like brand new right out of the box.
Still running Windows 98, huh?
Yes, I still have a machine that'll run, it runs Windows 98, original everything.
Wow, Windows 98 was like that was my introduction to the computer. My dad's work computer that I got to play on when I was a kid, that was a Windows 98. That was like I think might have been 95 actually. Maybe it was a 95, but still right around that range. That brings back good memories.
This is runs the Pentium 3. I got it back in 2000.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's a piece of history. Hang on to that machine. You never know.
That's I refer to it as the old Methuselah. So, but yeah, but no, and I think really, I mean, and I'm really, and I'll probably get really criticized for this, but here it goes, is that I think if you're going to go in competition against another company, Apple in this case, okay, Windows versus Apple, you might like apples, I like oranges, you know what I'm saying? But it's like Windows to me that's like a slap in the face to Apple because, Windows 10, come on.
Right.
I mean, think about it, man. It's kind of silly, really. I mean, and I don't have nothing against Windows, but it's like, I mean, come on. It's like Apple, Windows. I mean, come on.
Right. Well, and Apple's been on, Mac OS 10 for a while, and
Yeah.
so I would agree. I think it was a little bit of a nudge, but there was just to let our guests know or our audience know, there was a rumor going out about why they did not name it Windows 9. Now they said it was because it's such a big update that they're going to 10. It was such an incremental thing that they skipped 9. But apparently there was some code in a lot of old pieces of software and a lot of software that Windows even put out, and when it had to check for what version of Windows you're running, to keep things simple and to keep the code short, all it checked for was for Windows 9. So if you're running, like you were talking about Windows 98 and Windows 95,
Right.
it would check, and if it had 9, it just went to Windows 9. It didn't do anything past that because they didn't know where they were going with the 9 thing. And apparently some of that rogue code is still out there. Apparently there's still some code that might check for an operating system, and if it saw Windows 9, it might think it's running Windows 95 or Windows 98. So I'm not sure how much I believe that story, and I'm not sure how big of an issue that would have been. I kind of like your theory more, just because I am an Apple fanboy. I kind of like your theory of,
Yeah.
and it's probably true, you know.
I really want to word this the proper way for everybody in the chat room and everyone that's listening. Uh, you know, I'm not downing Windows, and I'm not, and me personally, I mean, I use Windows for such a long time. Obviously since back in 2000.
Right.
Um, and that's what I learned on, and and obviously, and I like it. I just think that, to me, they're really going to have to do something to really impress me personally, because now Windows. All right, let's go forward a little bit to bring this in perspective. Okay, that's like with Windows Vista. That's why Gates got out. I think
Oh yeah,
we had this
definitely.
conversation. It was released too soon, too fast, too many issues that weren't resolved. Then they came with Windows 7. To me, Windows 7 right now, okay, and Windows 8 is more geared towards tablets anyway, in my opinion. But Windows 7 is the new Windows XP. Okay,
Right.
that's the best running system they got right now, in my opinion. And I challenge anybody out there in the chat room or to even call in, and hey, what's your opinion on it? Because I think that Windows 7. I mean, it's going to take really something to beat that. I mean, really, because to me, I mean, if you're going to compete with a company like Apple, okay, I think they need more than just to come out with, say, Windows 10. I mean, really. I mean, that's kind of silly to me. I mean, I don't know. I would have went a different avenue as far as, competition wise with another company.
And for me, my thing with Windows is that I'm getting a little bit of feedback from you. If you could turn that speaker just a little bit. Oh, that help?
Are we good?
That's a little bit better. A little bit. Okay, yeah, we're good. My thing for Windows is that I just don't see, and Microsoft as a whole, I don't know where their focus is.
Right.
But really quick, like you said, if you guys are watching and you want to call in live, we'll put you into the show. If you guys have an opinion on where Apple's going and Microsoft and all this stuff, call in. The number is 402-915-0790. And we will pipe you in. Like I said, I always put this out there, keep it family friendly, but I know all of you watchers, you'll keep it family friendly. So,
You got a good audience.
oh yeah, I do. I love my audience. They're a bunch of really good people, and I get a lot of comments, especially from people that listen to it after the fact. And so, if you guys are listening to this after the fact, if you ever want to, come out and join us live. And because I'd love to get your feedback that you're sending me. I love that feedback, but I'd love it if you incorporate it in the show and called in or got in the chat room or one of those things. So you guys can always do that. I welcome you, because I know a lot of you right now are listening to this after the fact in podcast version. And but like I said, okay, so I don't know where Microsoft's focus is. They're kind of going in all these different directions right now. And I guess you might be able to say the same thing about Apple, but when I look at Apple, I think I see a company with a focus. And Microsoft right now, before, I'd say maybe a year or two ago, I would have said, the enterprise. I would have said Microsoft was focusing on big business, being in the enterprise, that sort of stuff. But now I just don't know. Are they going mobile? Are they going with services instead of hardware? I don't know what they're doing. So that for me is my one thing with Microsoft. And I'm like you. it's apples and oranges, and some people might like it and some people don't. I'm an Apple guy. I have no trouble with Windows guys, though. Actually, being in the tech industry like I am, I have to work a lot with Windows, and a lot of the people I'm talking to, they're Windows guys, and so I have to kind of, put on my face of, okay, Windows is okay, even though I'm an Apple guy. But it's kind of fun seeing Apple get more into at least the small business is where I notice it. When you walk into that local flower shop, when you walk into that local coffee shop, you're starting to see a lot more Mac, which is kind of fun. So I like to see Apple kind of expanding their focus, and even though I can't see Microsoft's focus, but I don't know. That's just me.
Well, I think also too, and again, folks, I mean, I don't want to put myself out there as well. I'm cutting down Windows by no stretch, but here's the thing, okay? And again, I challenge anybody, call in or if you're in the chat room, say something, because here's what I say is that you have Windows and then you have Apple. Okay, how many times in the past 2 years? Let's go 2 years. How many times have you heard of Apple being hacked? How many times?
Very true.
Answer that. Answer that. There's the open question right there.
Well, this past week I was going to talk about one news story, and there was a worm that found its way into Mac, but it was a very limited kind of scope, and basically the only way you were going to get it is if you were downloading pirated versions of, I think it was iPhoto. So if you were going on BitTorrent, I don't know why, because iPhoto is free. It might have been a different program, but the one I heard was talking about iPhoto. But if you were BitTorrenting and getting illegal versions of software, there were some worms in those, but I think that's pretty standard across the board. But as far as targeted attacks, I think, we haven't seen as many on the Mac side as we have with the Microsoft side. Although now with all these attacks that we're starting to see, they're starting to attack, things that aren't specifically based on the operating system. When I talked about the Heartbleed attack, that was attacking SSL, which is all on servers and websites. So no matter if you were on a Mac or a Windows machine, if you were accessing these sites with a bad SSL, it didn't matter whether you were Mac or Windows. And so I think a lot of these attacks now, and especially the one we just saw, and I'm going to completely forget the name. I talked about it last week, I think. But that attack, again, was in actually the bash script. Now I'm starting to remember what it is. I can't remember the name. But it was in terminal commands and stuff like that, which a lot of the stuff is on many different operating systems and not just targeted towards one. So I hope. It's kind of sad to see that we might be getting all these attacks that are focused on universal systems and not just based on the operating system.
Yeah, well, like you just said a few seconds ago too, Mike, is that you get on a site like that, you're begging for it. You really are.
Right.
So it's self-explanatory. You mess with fire, you're going to get burnt sooner or later. So
exactly. All right, so I think we got the feedback issue fixed, and like I was telling you guys earlier, if you guys were watching live, you just can't control some of this stuff. It doesn't show up in pre-show, and you never know what's going to happen in those audio loops. That feedback is just something that you never know when it's going to happen, so we had a little bit of that. So, but back to what we were talking about. So we're talking about Apple and Microsoft, and actually to go back to the Apple event. So we talked about kind of iPads and stuff like that, but the other side of the big update for Apple on this Thursday, what we're going to hear a lot about is a new line, apparently, of iMacs and maybe even MacBook Airs. And the big update to these is that it's rumored, we don't know for sure, but that they are going to get Retina displays. And so your huge iMac might actually be a Retina display now, just like it is on your phone and your iPad. So that means really that your eyes can't pick up any sort of, any of the pixels. It should never be able to do that. But what the rumors are is that the actual display on the new iMac might be 5K. So, forget that 4K business that everyone else is dealing with. Apple's going straight with the 5K. And I was shocked when I heard this. Like I said, I'm not sure if I believe the rumors. I guess we'll see on Thursday. But what do you think, Roger, about a 5K display built in on your iMac?
Wow. I hadn't heard of that, but I think that would be pretty phenomenal. Now, as far as the Retina display that you had just mentioned, I heard that the Retina display was supposed to be on the iPhone 6, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been on every iPhone since I want to say the 4. Yeah, every phone has had a Retina display. Now, the resolution has gotten better over time, but it's always been quote unquote a Retina display. And I can't remember the formula for what exactly makes up a Retina display, but all it really means is that your eyes can't really see any pixels. And so I think it was all the way back on the 4 or 4S that they started having a Retina display. But the new one that you're talking about, the iPhone 6 Plus, is actually 1080p. So that is the resolution of the new iPhone. So they actually have a really good display in there. It looks really good with movies. My dad actually just got the iPhone 6 Plus, and I got to set it up for him and play with it, and I was just like, wow. I actually went back to I have an iPhone 5, not even a 5S, and I was like, I can't even see anything on this tiny little phone. I love that big display. So yeah, those big displays got a lot better with their resolution.
See, that was another issue too that me and Stephen Haywood over from the Tech Buzz were discussing here not too long ago, is about the new iPhone 6 Plus with the larger screen. I really like that because for my personal preference, I like to watch, like I have the Dish satellite, which has the Hopper Sling installed in it.
Right.
So, and like at lunchtime at work, I like to watch the news and stuff and try to, get caught up on all the, daily events and that. But, and then of course on the weekends, if I'm, out doing things or whatever, I'll monitor the station or something or whatever. But anyway, it makes it nice because, it is a bigger screen, obviously, and it's a lot better quality. And with the, like right now, currently, I have an iPhone 5. Which is, a dinosaur now, basically.
Oh, yeah. But the same one I'm running.
Look at that. Look at that. Well, it looks like the same case, too.
I'm using a rock form. It's got this nice little thing on the back, and you can actually snap it into your car. There's a spot that you plug into your car, or different attachments you can get for the back. There's like a beer bottle opener and belt clip one, and so I use it. Yeah, it's really handy. I had it for the iPhone 4S when I had that, and when I upgraded, I had to buy the rock form, so...
See, my sons, I bought both of them the 4s, S's, and we got the iPhone 5s. I mean, I love it. I love it. I will never go away from the iPhone.
Oh, yeah. Neither will I. I mean, it would take a lot to move me. There's been some things that have kind of maybe like, oh, that's really enticing, but nothing ever to the amount where I'm like, okay, I'm switching. Apple just, they have it for me. They've got me.
And again, and I shouldn't say this, but I got to because I got to support what I like and support Apple's products because we are an Apple-based station. Even though we use some machines, like I said earlier in the program, that are Windows are running, the Windows 7 program operating system. But like I one of my coworkers, like today, example, quick story. He's sitting there pounding on his phone with his finger, and I'm like, what? And he's like, well, it gets stuck. And it's an Android. And I'm like, well, hey, right here, man. Right here.
It's where it's at. It's where it's at.
I mean, look. I said, look how sleek. Look how fast. Look how quick. It's just like, all the time, ready on a go, go, go,
Oh, yeah. I think us Apple fanboys, we like any time that we see someone struggling with an Android phone. I think we always like to jump on the moment like, hey, there's this shiny little Apple phone, iPhone. This thing's 2 years old and it probably runs better than your phone,
Yeah.
Those sort of jokes, they're always fun.
Well, facts are facts at the end of the day. I mean, and I understand that, for those of you folks that, sometimes, your financial status, it's like beyond your budget. I understand that. But if there's an avenue you can go, and if you can get the product, get it one time, try it out, because I'm telling you, you'll never go back. You'll never go back.
Hector in the chat room though is saying, hey, I'm a Windows fan, and then we didn't address him for a while, so he said, oh, you don't want to know what I have. Oh, I think he's talking about maybe for the phone. So he does not have the iPhone, I'm guessing.
I don't think he does.
No.
I don't think he does.
But, okay, so along those lines, you started to talk about, I think this is a perfect transition, because I really wanted to talk about, you and your radio station, because I think a lot of people will be very interested in this, especially because, you're not one of those huge conglomerate corporations running a radio station. You are a guy who had a huge passion for it, and you went for it. And so talk a little bit about, WLMN Radio, how it got started, and then maybe we'll get into some audio equipment talk, because I know a lot of people, they're always asking me what microphone I'm using, so we'll start talking about this and maybe some of your equipment. But just kind of tell me a little bit about WLMN Radio, how you started it, and what it's all about.
Sure. Actually, it actually started back in 2000 when I first got my Windows 98. And I'm going to kind of skip through certain parts here because it's a long, drawn-out story. But back in 2006, 2007, ended up finally getting internet because I believe that when you bought a computer, you should get internet for free. I had this belief that, you shouldn't have to pay for internet because you're already paying a substantial amount for the machine anyway. Well,
right.
Unfortunately, it don't work that way. Well, and again, not to bounce back and forth, but back when I got my 98, I had the AOL trial versions, if you remember that.
Oh yeah, those little discs you would get from the grocery store.
Yeah.
And, you could just grab a stack of them and keep doing them.
Yeah. So I did that for like the longest time, and I just played games and I searched around and that. But then when I got internet and I started paying for it, I think it was 2006, 2007, I believe. Ended up getting bought a little IBM ThinkPad. Is where WLMN Radio was first born. I thought the name I got in contact with a really good friend of mine, Darren from New Jersey, and he turned me on to some radio automation software and said, "Hey, here's what you need to do." Because the internet can be used as a very good tool. You can broadcast on the internet, and I'm like, really? And I thought, hey, you might be onto something here. He showed me what he was doing, so I took what he was doing, and I signed up with, at that time, which was Blog TV. Sad story there, but that's a story for another day.
Right.
And I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to play some 80s music and do a little show thing on an amateur basis, and let's see where it goes.
So that's what So it started out with you liked music, though, right? Or did you want to do talk radio? It was music.
Well, it started out with music, and
okay.
I'd done DJing and stuff, and done clubs and all that. But that kind of got old, and I got burned out from that. And I wanted more. I wanted to be more professional. I wanted more. I wanted to be like a brand.
Right.
So I wanted to think of a catchy name that was, something to where I could configure talk in with radio, the music side of things. That's why I named it the World Livewire Music Network, if you really think about it. I know it's kind of an odd name. It's not something that you hear all the time. Nobody else that you get there on the internet, you search, you type it in, you look on the internet, there's only one WLMN radio.
Which makes it very easy to find. I did like that when I was Googling. It was always on the top. That SEO was really, really good for your site.
Yes. And like I say, I mean, now, in all honesty, there is another station out there that uses that actually has the call letters WLMN, but I am WLMN LP. Now, I had talked to the Federal Communications Commission, and I can advertise it in a way such as WLMN radio, standing for the World Livewire Music Network, which that's what I do. Now, on the radio, I advertise, and my producer and everyone that is on my station, it's WLMN Radio LP, because we're low power, we're amateur, community based. We're internet. We are on the FM, but we're at low power. We're only like 25 milliwatts, but it gets out in this whole community here.
Right.
So, and we're legal. It's everything's. We're Part 15. It's basically a license to broadcast unlicensed. Now, and I have filled out the permits and stuff for a construction permit, which I'm currently waiting on. It's a long process because there's only certain windows open at certain times, to apply for.
So with that, if I can interrupt you for a sec, just because I'm so, being a law student, so interested in all the forms and everything you had to fill out, how difficult was it to kind of wrap your head around, okay, what all do I need to do? What are all the forms? Who do I need to contact? Was that difficult to find all that stuff when you're like, okay, I want to start this radio station, but I want to be legal? What resource did you use? How did you kind of find out how to do that?
Well, and again, you look on the FCC.gov website, and pretty much any and everything that is there. It's just a matter of taking time and searching and asking questions. I've contacted them, and you got to go through an enormous span of automation in their phone system. It's really aggravating, to be honest, because you got to get in contact with somebody at the media department that is certified to help you. I mean, it's a long process.
You've got to be fully committed. This isn't just something you just decide one day you want to do. I mean, this is something you plan out and you say you got to be really committed.
Yeah, we've been licensed going on our 5-year anniversary. May will be 5 years that WLMN Radio has been in existence, and we've been an actual business here in West Virginia, where we're located, out of Taylor County. That's our
okay.
So, and we have grown, and a lot of people have taken notice and they're really interested in what I'm doing. It's very hard because when you have a station, you want to expand, you want to get bigger. It's going to grow on its own, so you ain't got to worry about that.
Organic growth that just happens over time, yeah.
Yeah, well, a good example is open mic night. I mean, to me, look how far you've came within a couple months.
Right.
Not because I'm rebroadcasting, but because of the product, your brand, Uyghur Tech, and I look for Uyghur Tech to go above and beyond. I think, to me, not because I rebroadcast you, but I listen and hey, I give you all the respect and kudos in the world, because you got to be committed. You got to have that passion. You got to have that drive. And there's going to be times when you're going to, be like, I don't want to do this no more. That's at that moment, that's when you step back, and I call it reinventing yourself. Take a pause from it. Go to your normal life and come back to it, and you'll be like, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. And that's what I do in certain situations, because it is hard. I didn't have nobody to help me. And in Taylor County here, they're really behind the times on a lot of things. They don't have a radio station they used to, and I had an opportunity to buy them out. But another company bought them out. They had an FM side, they had an AM side. A company out of Maryland bought the FM side, and then West Virginia Radio, which is like the mecca here in West Virginia. That corporation owns like just about 80 to 90% of the radio stations in the whole north central West Virginia area.
Was that station online too, or just AM/FM?
I don't think it was online. I don't think it was ever online, to my knowledge. They were a 5,000 watt station, and like I said, the transmitter's still there, or the tower rather. And I can, I'm even looking at maybe using that tower, renting it, or leasing it, or something to where I can broadcast remotely. I'm looking at a lot of different avenues, but I will say this. First thing, Mike, is that if WLMN Radio keeps expanding the way that it is, right now, currently, I've got it in my backyard. It's its own business, its own thing, and it's very private area, so that there's nobody going to be able to, it's monitored and watched all the time. So there's nobody,
right.
Just to throw that out there to folks, but. I'll say that if it keeps growing, though, I will have to find bigger facilities, and that's what we're looking at. And later on in the program, I do have a couple big announcements too. Later on, I wanted to add
I'm excited for those. You've been
Yeah,
teasing me with those all week, so I'm excited to hear your big announcements. But I
I'm
really
good for
like,
that.
yeah, exactly. Hector kind of talked about it, and you mentioned it actually right after Hector said it in the chat room. But it's about that passion, and I think you and I, whenever you and I are talking, we mention passion. I think at least once in almost every conversation we talk about, because it's what drives us. And I think that organic growth doesn't happen without the passion, because you've got to have that motivation to say, I'm going to do this every night, and I love it, and I'm not doing it to make money. If money comes, great. I'm doing it because I really enjoy it, and I think that is what creates these things. I started out just doing this live thing, and then this summer I started Uyghur Tech Solutions because I liked helping people online, and I said I can help people in person too. And I've got a degree, I might as well use it for that sort of thing. And so just that passion just makes this organic growth happen even faster. You might grow if you're not really into it, but passion is contagious. And I think people can, when they're watching you, one of the reasons when you and I first, got hooked up, I was in the chat room of the Tech Buzz, and I think you were too, and we kind of met there, and then we Skyped. And when you started talking about WLMN Radio, I was like excited about it because your passion just showed through. I got excited with it. I didn't even realize it, but it was because you were excited. And whenever you talk about it, it's almost like it's your baby. It's your thing that you just love and you care about and you want to see it grow and succeed. And so that was why I was so excited to get on board with you, is because that passion showed through. And I think, like I said, it's contagious. People can see the passion. They like it. People want to see those sorts of things take off and succeed. So I think they'll help you out. And that passion thing is just, it's the key. It's the key to everything, I think, when you're starting one of these sort of companies or shows or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like kind of like going to work, but now some days are could be better than others. Like some days, I mean, there's a lot of things that people, and I always say this, I always talk about this, and even all the way from people like myself to Howard Stern, shock jocks like Howard Stern could even tell you, is that there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Hector in the chat room, he could even tell you, there's just so much stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we do. It ain't about, okay, I'm going to walk in the studio, I'm going to crack that mic open, I'm going to start playing music and acting crazy and blah, blah, blah. That's right. All fine. That's all fine and good, okay? But when your time slot's over and your program's done, okay, at the end of the day, there's work to be done. That's when the real work starts.
Oh yeah.
Because it was really tough for me, and in some cases still yet today it's still kind of tough. Is that not just having say John Doe or Jane Doe out there. Hey, check out WLMNradio.com. This is what I do. Blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. They check it out. And they're like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then that's it. I don't want them to check it out. I want them to be like, okay, yeah, that's where Uyghur Tech, it airs Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, I want to check that out, And I want them to tune in. I want them to stay tuned in and look at all the other programming. Look at our brand that we're creating. Look at all the other things that we're coming up with, because, and I want them I want to be a one-stop shop. You look at the main page, everything's there, self-explanatory, just like your site. Check out UyghurTech.com because it's a beautiful site. And I mean, everything's listed right there. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, you can find all the proper information, all the contact information. I mean, you got any questions about anything? There you go.
Well, yeah, and along with that, I think it's so important. I think people sometimes underestimate the importance of every little aspect of your company, of your whatever you're doing. I consider Uyghur Tech a little company now, and it's every little thing you do. When I make a video, when I tweet with my Twitter account, everything is representing your brand. And you never know what the thing is that someone's going to stumble upon. Someone might stumble upon one of my tweets. They might do a Google search for something and one of my tweets might come up. They might see a Facebook post. They might see a random video on YouTube. And if I haven't represented myself the way I want, and if I haven't been engaging and helpful and everything I stand for in every single one of those little things, I might have turned off a potential listener or customer, or you never know what it is. And so I think you and I have kind of connected on that level where, just like you said, everything you do, with the website, but also with everything you do in general, I think it's just very important to kind of monitor yourself. And even when I'm sitting there on Twitter and I'm watching something funny on TV, sometimes I have a really witty comment, but it might not be too appropriate. And I'm like, that's just not. Although I think it's funny, not worth putting out there under my name, because it doesn't represent my company the way I want it to. And so I think just the importance of every little thing you do is really important. I think a lot of people maybe just focus on the really public things. They focus on the video, they focus on stuff. Even when you're interacting with people outside of your company, even when I'm not representing Uyghur Tech, if I'm just representing Mike Uyghur in law school, or if I'm representing the company I work for on the side, when I'm representing them, all those interactions with people, you never know when you're going to run back into someone, or when they refer you and they say, oh, hey, you need a tech guy? There's this guy named Mike, and let's see if he can help you out. You never know. And so I think representing yourself in a professional manner, not being stiff, not being uptight, and not able to have fun, but in a professional manner, in a representative manner, a manner in which your grandma would never be embarrassed to see you acting. That's always my thing. Is if would one of my grandparents or would my mom be embarrassed by something I just said? And if you use that as a barometer, it tends to work out pretty well for you. And I think there's nothing you'll do that'll be too embarrassing for yourself or your company.
Well said, Mike. Well said. And I want to release this real quick to build up to the other big announcements.
You're still building me up. Come on, just say it. Just say it.
Well, another announcement is the first announcement is coming up soon. We haven't really discussed a release date on it yet, but Uyghur Tech is actually going to have an open mic night marathon, which Mike has really been working behind the scenes on, and we're really, really excited about.
I'm super pumped about this. This will be fun.
Yeah, producing the marathon, and you got to tune in. We're definitely going to discuss the release date on that. We're getting everything situated. I've got it in the video automation. I've got it good to go, and I can't wait to watch it. I'm going to sit back and. All I can say, folks, is Uyghur Tech's taking over WLMN radios in the upcoming future very soon.
It's a lot of fun, and this is where I say, just thank you to you, because when we first met, you didn't know me, we didn't know each other. I didn't know you, you didn't know me, and you kind of took a risk, taking me in, and you'd seen some of my shows, but I'm still a new person. This is episode 31. And you kind of took a risk on me, and now, doing things like a marathon for me. I would never imagine someone like you being that nice to me to put up a marathon of the show. So it shows you, though, the value of our connection. I think when you and I started talking, we just found that we had the same moral compass, the same direction, the same passion. And when you find people like that, you help each other out. And and I try and promote WLMN Radio as much as I can, not because you stream me, but because you're honestly a really awesome radio station on the internet that's really fun to listen to, and you've got a lot of great talent, and it's not just a thing of where and I don't think you're doing it because you feel like you have to. It's a thing of we both really like each other's content, and I think that's when the best promotions come out. When someone's saying, oh, check out Uyghur Tech or check out WLMN Radio, if they're doing it because they really like your stuff, that people can sense that sincerity. So.
Yeah, I think, and again, to reiterate with you, and I appreciate the kind words, that was real nice, is that, there's always room for improvement. I always got room for improvement. That's why, and again, I cannot stress this enough, that we're always working behind the scenes. Okay, folks? So, those of you in the chat room, those of you listening, Hector in the chat room, yourself, there's just so much that we're always working on. All the time, all the hours. I bug him to death. It's like, if something, just that one little thing ain't right, we got to tweak it a little bit. It might take 4 or 5 hours where we're tweaking it, but then the end product you're like, is it worth it? Yes, it is, because we're doing this for you all, and I believe it's about from one station to station / company owner to another, to everybody out there. Hey, it's all about support. We got to support one another.
Exactly. Oh yeah, little improvements. Like right now, my main focus is, a huge paper I have due Thursday for law school. So if I seem a little distracted tonight, I have a looming paper over my head. But on the Uyghur Tech side, I'm trying to figure out a way to just the best way to bring in video, bring in a guest via video without using Google Hangouts. I like Google Hangouts; it's easy, but you guys have noticed, someone actually texted me at the beginning of the show and said, hey, your intro video didn't show just the audio. And it's like, yeah, I know, it's because I'm on Google Hangouts and I can't use my software with it. And so I'm just trying to do all that with still on a budget. But that, little improvements, little things like that. I think when you get into our scenario, and especially when you're out there for a customer and you're out there for viewers, you're never really satisfied with what you've got. It's always like, oh, there's just this one more thing I can do and one more thing. And it's a slippery slope, but it's a fun slope to be rolling down.
Well, I got to say, too, and this brings me back to a gentleman that I got to give utmost respect for, other than yourself, Mike, is I must say this, and I always reminisce on this, is Stephen Haywood from the Tech Buzz. He is the next big thing.
Oh, yeah, I would agree.
For those of you, go to techbuzz.net, if I may. And
I think it's thetechbuzz.net, right?
Yeah, thetechbuzz.net. Yeah,
yep.
I'm sorry. And he has really, he came across, we kind of crossed paths on the internet like everybody does. And real briefly, he was really taken by my brand, and he really looked at it and really thinks there's a lot of potential there. That he loves the brand, he loves the product, and the most important thing is, like he told me, he says, you don't mimic nobody, you don't copy nobody. And I said, no. I said, it's easy to copy. I mean, I could do what you're doing now, Mike. I could sit behind a desk and do a tech talk show. But why? I mean, we all got to have our own character. We got to have our own persona, our own theme, our own brand, our own everything. That's what makes it challenging. I mean, I ain't out there to compete with anybody.
Right.
What I'm out there to do is have fun and drive. I got the drive like you wouldn't believe.
Well, yeah, it's that, and there's a difference, I think, between using people as inspiration and then just straight copying. I think you can kind of tell when people are straight copying, but like inspirations, my main reason for wanting to do a live show was Leo Laporte. Now, obviously, I'm not doing it like Leo Laporte does, but I tried to. You can model yourself after, but yeah, copying, because I think the main reason you don't copy is because then it's not you. And I think your viewers and your listeners, that what they're watching for is you. There's a lot of different places people could get your content. There's a lot of different places people could get tech content besides Leo Laporte, but why does everyone go to them? Because they like his personality, they like his guests, and that is what they like. Just like for me, there's a lot of different places you guys can get all your tech news. There's a lot of different places you guys can watch interviews, but there's a reason that some of you still decide to listen to me, and I think it's because, you guys like it, and there's a reason that I watch all the stuff over at OMN Radio and Stephen Hayward on the Tech Buzz. I watch them. It's funny. They're on 2 hours before my show, and so my routine is I come home from work, I turn them on, and I watch it, and I watch them because I like them. I like their personality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has a really, really great, unique brand, and again, he is a great guy. Great brand. He associates himself with the great clientele of talent, and I'm honored. I'm really honored to be affiliated with the Tech Buzz, and we stream all of their every single show that from day one we've streamed them live. So, and thanks to Steve, and he's really opened up some doors with us through Telestream, and I'm really thankful, and I owe him a lot. And one day you're going to see me live in that studio.
I can't wait. I want to see that. I definitely want to see that.
That'll be a blockbuster show, let me tell you, because we've talked about it several different times as far as me, going up and surprising everybody and shocking the whole internet. Wow, WLMN Radio on a techbuzz.net platform. Wow, live in studio.
Oh yeah. Well, how far away are they from you?
Actually, he's up in Pennsylvania, and I'm in West Virginia, so I think it's like 6 hours.
Oh, really?
I don't know, 7.
That's not a bad drive.
No. It's not. Maybe even closer than that. You know.
Right. That's like from me in Omaha to Minneapolis. It's about the same drive. It's not too bad.
Real quick though, too, I wanted to throw out there, and I know we're getting close. Is that I wanted to talk about a copyright issue. I mean, we talked a lot about things on the positive side. I mean, unfortunately, with every conversation, there's always some negative things that I like to discuss and get out there, and just I want to express my opinion on those too. Is um, like I said, WLMN Radio has really grown this past year, and the local TV station had taken a great interest in what I was doing, which was great. I thank them a lot. I have actually, the story is you go on my website, WLMNradio.com, and click on the WLMN Radio links page, and you'll see Channel 5 WDTV, which is our local CBS affiliate, because we are CBS affiliate station. That you'll see the story there in its entirety. But it was what got me was with it real briefly was when they done the story. It was a 1-minute segment, and I asked for a copy of it, just for my my own personal thing, so I would have it as like a keepsake, so to speak. But they wouldn't do it unless it was a police investigation. That was the only way they would release it to the media. And I said, well, that was my content. It was my story, So to me, and I told them, I said, I appreciate what you've done. I really do. And I said, but, that's not fair. They said, well, we have everybody asking that, and we can't release it. And I said, well, that's not fair. And I think about it from time to time, and talking about it kind of gets me a little, you get kind of, it's like a
brings back those memories of when it happened,
it's like a
and that sort of stuff hurts. It's not just a thing of just being disappointed. It's kind of like a sting, it's like, oh, well,
yeah,
I was really hoping you guys give that to me. It was a big part of my business and something that I wanted to do, and it'd be nice to have that. But
yeah.
Oh man, that opens up a whole big. I mean, we could just go into hours worth of stuff on this copyright thing, because it's that sort of stuff, and you wonder too if it's a little bit trademark. These companies have to protect their brand and stuff like that. And if it was, of course, you're a trustworthy guy, but if they had to do the background check of every single person that wanted access to their videos, you never know. But in a situation with you, it just hurts. It's kind of something that just stings, because you are a good guy. You weren't looking to go out and repurpose it and put it out there and redistribute it without their consent. But so in those situations, that's when it's just like, man, if everyone in the world was trustworthy, the world would be a different place. We could actually trust people. Shocker.
Yeah. If it was only that easy, only in a perfect world.
Right.
But,
exactly. And that was kind of going into law school. You guys have seen me over the weeks. I'm a happy person. I'm usually pretty optimistic about the world. And let me tell you, if you are an optimistic person, you want to stay optimistic, don't go to law school. It turns you into a complete pessimist. So I'm trying to stay as positive as possible. But man, you just start to see just how the world operates, and it brings kind of a sad omen to it. And right now, I haven't taken copyright yet, but I'm in trademarks. And sadly, just the way the law is written, the companies need to, you ask, oh, why would a company sue on a trademark? It's a small guy, he's not doing anything. He might have used their trademark on a shirt and sold a few. But it's just crazy how if the company doesn't sue, then it can lead to further action. They can lose their trademark if they don't enforce it. There's just a whole different world out there, and law school is really, man, it's kind of opened my eyes to that whole scene. But like I said, in your situation like that, it can be really sad.
Yeah, and especially if it's your own property, it's your own content.
Right.
It's my business. I mean, I just, that was the only thing, that deterred me about the whole deal. But they done a great job. They really promoted me very well. But I see, we're coming close to the end. I want to put this out there. I know everybody's chomping at the bit. First off, before I say this, we don't have a release date yet on this, but it is in the makings, and it is registered. It will be owned by WLMN Radio. We're getting ready to launch a brand new TV station. It's just going to be internet-based, low-power TV station. We will only broadcast on the radio station as far as the video, like we broadcast open mic night, stuff like that. Affiliate only shows that produce video will be on our website, and then for the station. But on this station, it's called Classic Internet Television, and we have signed and I'm still working out a couple kinks that I didn't know. Well, we have signed with Livestream. So if you get on the main page, you'll see our brand new Classic Internet Television logo there.
Really?
It's not. Yeah, we done a little test run. We got some other stuff going on with it.
When you say the main page, you mean main page of Livestream or of WLMN Radio?
Of WLMN Radio. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And yeah, it's in the top right. You'll see it there. And we're putting everything together. Like I said, it's like still in beta. It'll be in beta for a little while. And this thing, we're going all the way with it. We're going to be first. We're going to start out broadcasting Saturday 6 a.m. to Sunday at noon. For right now, we're starting off small. Now, when I say classic internet television, okay, it's nothing like what's the way? It ain't like a ripoff from TV Land or Retro Television Network or none of those companies. But it's like how can I say this? It's like back in the 40s and 50s. So it's really, really old programming that we're cleaning up. And I'm actually looking to, see what I can do and see what the cost is to actually get the copyrights and go from that point to actually own it. So
that is exciting, though. I had no idea that was in the works. That would be really, really cool. But you said no launch date yet?
No launch date yet.
Okay.
Because when we do launch it, though, it'll be plastered all over WLMN Radio's Facebook, our Twitter account, and of course the main page, WLMNradio.com. And of course, we will release that publicly, maybe even here on Open Mic Night.
Yeah, well, for sure. And even if you don't do it live here, I will always, I'm always kind of giving an update on WLMN Radio. Mm-hmm. So if you guys are listening right now and you want to be, kind of updated by them, don't worry about it. Every week, I'm trying to give you guys an update on what they're doing. So whenever it does launch, the people who listen here in Open Mic Night, they'll for sure know. So if you do stay listening here, you will know when that goes up. But that's interesting because you had been telling me about a lot of the TV stuff, and I had an inkling. I was wondering if this is where that was going to go. But that's really exciting. That's going to be a big venture, though. That's going to be a lot to handle.
Yeah, well, it is a lot, but I've implemented a lot of our software. It's basically unplugging one side of things and then plugging in the television side of things. But eventually, the main goal is it'll run 24/7, 365.
That's cool. Well, that's what I like about WLMN Radio right now is that it is 24/7. Anytime you log in, you're hearing something, which is really cool. I kind of like that. I've wanted to do something like that with Uyghur Tech, but pretty much I would just direct people over to you. So.
Yeah. Well, like I said, and then we'll also back to, first off, the Classic Internet Television is a very unique station. It's going to be one of its kind. And I was also told that there's no other station out there that plays 40s and 50s content solely, and it's only in black and white. It will only be in black and white because I don't want to take from the originality of it, of the print, because these are programs that are just so far out of print that the copyright's dead on it. So that's why we're able to look at possibly grabbing that and owning it. We'll actually own that old programming.
Is that same sort of thing as like public domain, where once it kind of lapses, you can kind of go out and use some of their music and photos and stuff like that?
Yes, it is public domain, and we'll also be producing original content in the future. Plus, we'll be using some Creative Commons as well too. But this is going to be a very unique channel. Nothing ever seen. I mean, it's going to bring back stuff back when your parents your parents' parents were kids. This is back right after TV was invented. So
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see. Like I said, we've done a brief test run this past weekend actually, and it worked really good. It had really worked good, and it implemented and it plugged in great with my software, which is the Wirecast program.
Okay.
And we got some other things too that we're working on with it. But like I said, it's just a lot of things we got to do behind the scenes and make sure that we stay all legal.
I think you'll have a huge audience for this too. I mean, there's a huge kind of movement, at least with the kids my age, if I'm a kid anymore. I like to think I'm a kid. So, but with classic games, classic, dress, retro dress, kind of classic stuff. There's this kind of theme right now going along with that. So I think you're going to hit this right at the right time, and I think you might get a lot of maybe viewers that maybe you didn't expect. I think, sometimes if you think classic, some people don't expect the 18 to 25, 26 range, but I think that it's a perfect time to have a station like this. So, man, I'm excited.
And then to leave you in big suspense, because I know you'll hate me for this, is that
don't do it to me again. Come on.
Well, the next time that you invite me on your show, so now you got to.
Oh yeah, well I was planning on it already, but yeah, okay. Punch your ticket. What is it?
But I got another big announcement, and we're going to be talking about a little more. Is that I don't know when this is going. Well, actually, two things. One, I don't know when this is going to happen, but Hector has approached me about doing a lunch hour live show, strictly live, nothing but music. I mean, he'll do a little bit of chatting, but I think that'll be a good thing to implement for the lunch hour on WLMN Radio, because we get a lot of listeners here, mainly on the FM side of things, which unfortunately it only goes out so far. But like I said, the rural community where we're based at and where I live is a pretty nice community. It's a very nice, upstanding community, and it's a lot of people they're older clientele, and they want something like that because, and again, Taylor County don't have no radio station here anymore, and that's what makes me fortunate, is because we're in a good marketing area for it. So. But other than that, the other thing I will release the next time I'm on the air, which is really, really big, and it has to do with me being live on the air. That's all I can say right now.
Oh man, see, and you've hinted at that before, but that'll be a lot of fun. You just got that. You're fun to listen to, so I think I'm excited whenever you do go live. Oh, for sure. You have one view already, so hey, at least you're not gonna be sitting in front of no one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The worry always well, if I hit live and no one's there, what am I going to do? And you always have one. So.
Well, like I said, the TV thing was a thing that I wanted to do, and I wanted to implement, the radio side of the business, and just put your content and like Tech Zens on there, and Amnon's from Nissan Communication. His Computers 2K now, which is our morning show. They got our morning time slot, which their ratings have been through the roof. And I was checking my Arbitron ratings there the other week, and it's like you with Uyghur Tech and Open Mic Night. It's like you're like these set of steps that are being built. It's like every week you ain't going down, you're going up. And Hector's Retro Jam. I mean, he got like a 9 on his Arbitron rating, and that's like outstanding. And and it takes all you guys as a whole, to make WLMN Radio what it is, because I'm just, I'm here, and you guys, you're the backbone. So, and I thank all of you. So.
Well, it's one of those things. If I had any advice for someone who is starting a show, find a community, whether it be a station like WLMN Radio or a group of guys that have the same sort of interest, and have a community that you can talk to and bounce ideas off of, and something that keeps you going. Because I have to tell you, just the fact that I have WLMN Radio there, and I've met, I've talked to Hector, part of your crew, I've talked to you, it kind of connected me with the Tech Buzz more. It makes it feel more real, if that's I don't know if that makes sense, but it's weird when you're sitting in front of a computer and you're sitting in front of a webcam and you've got a microphone. A lot of times it's really easy to feel disconnected from people. And so if you're starting a show, you find that community, find a group of people, find something to kind of plug into, and it really helps keep you going and keep you kind of grounded, and it keeps you kind of eager to keep getting better and better.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say no better than what you just did, Mike. I mean, you're good with words. And again, I look at you. I mean, I'm pushing 41 now, and I look at you and I see a young me, and it's like, wow, because you're doing 100 times better than what I ever was at your age. And it's like, I wish that, I had the resources that I have now back then at your age. So, I would really give myself, big round of applause, pat on the back, kudos, because you're going up there, man. You're going up quick. And, and anything that we can ever do, I mean, we're here. We're a phone call away or a tweet away or a Facebook message away, however, but or an email, whatever. But and again, I hate to say this, but I'm looking at the time and I don't want to, but there was a lot of other things, that I wanted to discuss, like with some of the equipment and stuff that we use.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking you're for sure going to be back on. So maybe we kind of save our audio talk for the next time you're on.
Sure.
And because I think this is a perfect way to kind of wrap up tonight's episode. Mm-hmm. I hope you guys got a lot out of listening to Roger and I hope you guys really like Roger. If you guys want to check him out, and I encourage you strongly to do so, it's WLMNradio.com. And the link is down below the YouTube video. So if you're watching on YouTube, it's already down there. And it's also going to be in the description for the podcast. You guys can see it there. So if you forget it, if you hear it and you're like, oh, I don't know what it is, look in the description, look in wherever, it's going to be there. And also if you go to my site, WiegerTech.com, and that's WIEGER Tech.com. Someone told me the other week, they're like, hey, you always say your name in your audio podcast, but I never catch how to spell it. So there you go. WIEGER Tech.com. There's actually a tab there for WLMN Radio, and so you can click it, and there's a link to their site. If you click on their logo, it'll take you directly to their site. But obviously, I'll be giving you guys updates on that. One more thing I did want to mention is that in the Omaha area, if you guys are in Omaha, I am starting to kind of work more with this Uyghur Tech Solutions. And so I've actually got some people I'm already working with here. I had a few people in Kansas City that I was working with, and so it's growing slowly. But if you are a small business, or even a home, but small business especially, and you need a tech guy, you need email, you need servers, you need point of sale systems, anything like that, I would love to help you guys out. So head on over to WuyghurTech.com/solutions, and there's a contact me form, and fill it out and let me know what you need, and we'll see if I can help you out. So that's just one more thing I wanted to mention. All the links you guys need to subscribe to the show are at WuyghurTech.com/subscribe. Basically what I'm trying to get at is if you ever need anything about me or anything, head on over to WuyghurTech.com. It's all there, and you can find everything there. There's now, I mentioned it a few weeks ago, but there's now a video feed. So if you subscribe to the podcast feed that is audio, there is also now a new feed. If you just search for Uyghur Tech in iTunes or on any podcast app, you can see that now there's video and audio. So you can subscribe to the video feed as well, and you will get the video every week, which is great. So Roger, thank you so much for coming on. It was a blast having you on. Like I said, we're going to have you on again really soon. It was a lot of fun. Any closing statements, any plugs you want to do?
I would say it's always about support. For those of you that are thinking, or even just like listening to networks like ourselves, I mean, call in, get involved, express your opinion. If you don't want to be be on the air, okay, text, email, shoot Mike an email, shoot me an email.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very easy. Everything's self-explanatory. My email's WLMNradio@email.com. On the website at WLMNradio.com. Mike, that's everything on his page pretty well self-explanatory, as well as mine, and that's what it's all about, support at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah, feel free to email us. He gave you his email. Mine is mike@uyghurtech.com. Really simple. If you want to connect with us on Facebook or Google+, uyghurtech.com/Facebook, uyghurtech.com/G, and then the plus sign, the actual plus sign. That'll take you to those communities. Connect with us there. Leave comments there. Or, like you said, email. It's always great. We love hearing from you guys. Well, that is going to wrap it up for tonight's show. It was a joy as always. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys got as much out of it as I did. But as always, until next time, tech on.